It's the podcast where we watch every single episode of the 1966 Batman television series and talk about it for your listening pleasure. Today we're talking about Batman episode 8, A Death Worse Than Fate. It is the second part of the Zelda the Great story. If you don't know who that is, please go back and watch our last episode. When we last left our heroes, they had just received word that Harriet Cooper, better known to us as Aunt Harriet, was kidnapped by this mysterious bank robber. And yeah, our heroes got to figure that one out.
Well, not giving away their secret identities.
Yeah. Which Robin, he can't contain his grief.
Yeah, so we start in the commissioner's office this time, right?
Yeah, we're there and no one can find Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Robin's with them.
Robin's with the chief and the commissioner. Batman is out searching for Bruce Wayne. Hopefully they both show up.
Yeah.
Robin's gonna freaking blow the whole thing.
Yeah.
The commissioner grabs him by the arms and is just like, get a hold of yourself, lad. Bruce arrives saying Batman had a lead to follow or a clue to find. And the criminal asked that they communicate over the television. And I feel like this is just for the viewers' pleasure. So we don't just get a scene of Bruce Wayne and the villain on different phone calls, cutting back and forth. It's just a little more visually interesting.
Yeah.
One thing about Bruce Wayne going on TV and talking to a criminal is like there's no difference between his mannerisms and Batman's mannerisms.
Especially got Robin sitting right next to you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is yet again, another way for their identities to be deduced. This time by any Gothamite who might be watching TV. But that doesn't come into play here. No one figures out Bruce Wayne and Batman are one and the same.
Yeah, it sucks.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So Zelda, whose identity is still unknown to anyone else, just says, hey, I got Harriet Cooper suspended over a flaming vat of oil. All I want is $100,000.
Which, why did she need to even set up the death trap if she was just going to send a ransom note essentially?
Yeah.
Because she'd be tied up in her basement. Yeah,
it's not like anyone can see into her living room.
And it's not like it's a trap for Batman and Robin to show up.
I don't know. I guess she's just trying to...
I mean, visually it was more interesting for a cliffhanger.
That's true. But I guess they're just trying to scar Aunt Harriet.
I mean, I guess she's a magician. She's a showsman. It's a big theatrical production.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Robin reveals that Zelda the Great already has $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
The ruse from last week, where they put in the paper that the $100,000 that was originally stolen was counterfeit, kind of came back to bite them in the ass because, Robin's aunt is kidnapped.
Yeah, he does it in an appeal to you can't be all bad. I mean, because she's a woman, she can't be all bad. You have the money, just let her go. You don't need her. Fortunately, since Bruce Wayne is on the board at the bank, he does corroborate the story that the money was real.
Yeah.
And then Commissioner Gordon pulls up a letter from the newspaper saying that, oh, yeah, it was a fake story we printed. And it's the shittiest prop I've ever seen. I wouldn't buy this if I was her. It's just a little paper type. Yeah, it's typed that says it was wrong. It's got a fake seal on it and someone signed it. He's here, even they signed it. It's nothing about it even says the newspaper's title.
Come on, it's notarized.
Yeah.
Zelda kind of has a change of heart here.
Yeah. I mean, she mentions that she did it only because she was desperate. She didn't want to hurt the woman, but I wrote down desperation motivates most crime. We're finally starting to flirt with some of the societal causes of crime, and maybe we could combat that.
Yeah. And I do think this episode kind of goes into not only the cause of crime, but like rehabilitation
Yeah.
more and in a more serious way
Yeah.
than any of the others. Because of course we've had Warden Crichton
Yeah.
and his, more silly rehabilitation efforts.
Where they get to play baseball and wear their villain clothing in prison.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So yeah, knowing she has the $100,000, Zelda lets Aunt Harriet free. And she does this by just driving up to a street corner and pushing her out of a car.
Yeah, which is fine.
Aunt Harriet looks pretty worse for wear, very traumatized.
Yeah, she looks really befuddled.
It's funny. The first person she bumps into is the guy who's selling newspapers in the last episode.
I'm sure it's because they just had that stuff set up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So she puts her out in front of a giant Zelda the Great poster because of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Batman and Robin, or excuse me, Bruce Wayne and Robin,
Yeah,
return to Wayne Manor. And everyone's very happy that Aunt Harriet is safe.
we even say holy hallelujah.
Holy hallelujah. Alfred feels very guilty for the whole affair. You see, while Aunt Harriet was captured, Alfred was in the Batcave dusting the
Like equipment and stuff. Which she mentioned she usually does on Wednesday night, which is a callback to them mentioning it was Wednesday when they went off to be Batman and Robin.
Yeah, but Alfred was addicted to a certain television program.
Which they didn't say what it was. I wonder if it was Batman the show.
Yeah, I do wonder.
Because I think the first episodes were on Wednesday and the second episodes were on Thursday each week, right?
Well, let me look that up real quick since we have the date of the episode. So last week's episode was on the 9th of February. What day was
February 9th, 1966.
966? It was a Tuesday.
Okay, maybe it's Tuesday into Wednesdays.
Oh, wait, no. That's for some reason giving me the date of 2066.
Oh, shit.
It was Wednesday.
Yep. Because I was pretty sure that these shows used to air Wednesday, part 1 on Wednesday, part 2 on Thursdays.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I don't know if this was a reference to that, but it's kind of funny. And
I mean, it feels like it would be a reference to that. It's just funny that it's, we're at episode, this story makes up episodes 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Which is
is it 7 and 8? What is it? Wouldn't it be 9 and 10?
No. We've had 1 and 2 were the Riddler.
3 and 4.
3 and 4 were the Penguin.
5 and 6
were the Joker.
7 and 8 would have been the Mr. Freeze, though.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, so this is episode 10.
Oh, yeah. I got these written in my notes wrong. So I think at the top of the show, I've said them wrong both times.
Well, you can always record yourself saying it right and edit it in.
I probably am not going to fix that. Whatever.
It's fine. We'll just leave this in explaining that.
Yeah. So, sorry, viewers. I just don't know what I'm talking about.
We're only, as they say in Batman, Robin says to Batman, we're only human.
Dang. So true. Thanks, Robin.
Picking up what we left off, the police were interrogating, and a physician were there checking her out and interrogating her for clues. Alfred finds what I thought was a wedge of cheese at first, but it turns out it's a matchbook for the Gnome bookstore, which made me so mad initially because I'm like, that's the dumbest, laziest way to get them to go there. Like, she just picked up a matchbook for no reason. Why would they even make matchbooks for this store? But we find out soon enough that it was kind of done on purpose. I was like, oh, okay, that's not so bad.
Yes. So Bruce and Robin head to the Batcave. Bruce changes into his Batman uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder what happens to Robin when he goes down the Batcave.
I thought about that. I didn't know if he was going to be like in double outfits.
And they head off to the Gnome bookstore. Yeah. On the way, Batman reveals that he has deduced the criminal's identity.
Yeah.
You see, last year for Dick's birthday, they went to go see a certain stage magician.
Mm-hmm.
And this criminal uses the same techniques. My issue with this is Batman clearly saw this person in the previous episode.
Yeah, that's how he deduced it, right? No, I'm just kidding. Like, yeah, he mentions the techniques. Yeah, I mean, I guess he sees lots of people. I don't know. I thought the bigger clue was going to be that the robbery keeps being April 1st, and that's going to keep being like if Zelda and this other guy are like traveling, the show's traveling, they just come back to Gotham this time each year, which is why the crime keeps happening. That's where I thought they were going to go for deducing, or at least narrowing down the search, you know? Because it's not like I'm the April Fooler and I commit crimes on April Fool's Day every year. Like that wasn't their that gimmick.
The April Fooler.
Or like the Fooler, like that seems like a Joker thing, you know?
Yeah, truly.
Or like Calendar Man.
Oh, I would love if we got Calendar Man 66.
Calendar Man would be really cool in the show because then you could have like themed episodes, like this is the Christmas episode or Thanksgiving or Arbor Day or something fun. Like,
damn, where were you in 1966, Scott?
I was negative 20 years old.
Dang. Anyway, back at the bookstore, Evil is happy that he has his $100,000. He's had it the whole time, but now he knows it's real. So Zelda, having paid up, wants to know how this inescapable doom trap works.
Yeah, I do notice they keep calling it that because you want to say death trap.
Yeah, I really want to say death
like
trap.
I want to say it too.
But it's a doom trap.
It seems like a standards and practices thing.
It's here that we find out that Evil doesn't know how to get out of this doom trap.
Which, why would he make it?
Well, he knows they're in Gotham City.
Yeah.
And he knows there's no greater escape artist than Batman, which is true. We've seen him get out of any number of traps.
Yeah, even as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because the episode's writer, Lorenzo Semple Jr., has written one other story so far, and it's the Penguin episode where the Penguin is just like, I want to commit a crime, but I'm just going to let Batman figure out which crime I'm going to commit.
Yeah.
So it seems to be a well that this writer likes to dip his toes in a lot.
Yeah. I think that worked better in the Penguin episode.
Yeah. This kind of, I mean, both are really silly, but
yeah,
this one is just like, okay, like.
Yeah, I think the Penguin, because the story's based on that, like that is the plot. And this is just like a thing that happens in this. It's like a little more like, oh, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's mostly here to like give suspense to the viewer. Like,
yeah.
Oh, we the viewers don't know how to get out of this. So
yeah, I don't know how to get out of it. Yeah.
And then once Batman escapes, two goons are just going to shoot him.
Yeah, he said he bought a contract from because they paid him another $100,000. I don't know why he wants this specific amount of money every time, but like that they're gonna kill Batman from the Syndicate, which I guess is just like a TV friendly version of like the Mafia.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool if the Syndicate kept showing up.
Yeah,
but we'll see if that happens. Batman and Robin get to the bookstore. It's currently closed for business, but the door's unlocked. And they find some signage leading them to a specific book called The Truth About Bats.
Mm-hmm.
And when they pick this book up, it raises a switch that opens a trap door to the secret lair.
It's a classic like bookcase turning, you know?
Yeah.
Which if I had a bookstore.
Classic bookcase.
If I had a bookstore and I was going to have a secret lair in the back, but that's how I would do it.
Oh, of course.
I hope nobody ever wants to buy that book because then they'd have to pick it up and then secret bookcase.
Yeah, hopefully not. Although I'm sure Evil would just kill them. Upon finding the secret lair, Batman and Robin uncover this doom trap. How do they get inside of it? They just step.
They're like, it's dumb that they went inside of it because
It's
Clearly, like,
obviously a trap.
yeah, it's obviously a trap. They're like having lights and things like kind of in curtains open to like reveal it. And there's like a rubber bat inside. And they're like, oh, we got to go check out this bat. And the bat turns into skeletons. And then they push a button and the door closes and locks on them as they're watching from like the other room with periscopes.
They immediately go for their utility belts, but Evil reminds us that this trap is made out of jet-age plastic.
Yeah.
And that nothing they have in their belts will be able to break it.
Yeah.
It's here Zelda is like, oh, come on, Batman. She starts cheering for Batman. We're like, at least hoping he makes it out before the gas kills them.
Yeah, she mentions that they're hunky.
Yeah.
Like Robin's a minor, I think.
I mean, totally. He was at the playground and she.
I mean, everyone calls him Boy Wonder.
When Evil calls her out on it, she's like, can I help it if I'm a woman?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I can only imagine how it felt to be a woman and be given that line.
I'll be honest with you. Like, Adam West isn't a bad looking dude at the time. Like, but like every episode has somebody like falling in love with someone. Yeah, it's like, and then that's annoying.
The gas starts filling the doom trap.
Yeah, they realize it's rising up, so it's lighter than air.
So they're like, oh, we'll go down here and breathe the real oxygen. And they realize that because it's rising, it must mean that there's helium inside.
Mm-hmm.
So already having tried to escape through the trap door and have received the electric shock, Batman's like, oh, quick, use the buckle of your utility belt to touch this electric grate and it'll cause an explosion and we can free ourselves. It does cause an explosion. Luckily for them, they're not injured.
I don't know how they're not injured. They're right on top of the explosion, like literally.
And it's strong enough to blow this thing apart.
Of space or jet age polymers or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Like, what are their outfits made out of?
Who knows? Maybe jet aged spandex.
Yeah. Maybe it's made of space age stuff. Oh. Jet age is such a weird thing because, yeah, the space age was the 50s. Oh, you know, we haven't been to the moon yet. We're still 3 years from that. Just one of those things. It's weird.
Very weird.
But it works on cartoon comic book logic, you know.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm into just like, let's mash words together.
Yeah.
That sound cool.
To be honest, I don't know how. I didn't have an idea how they were going to get out of it.
Me neither.
So,
it's a good thing they're such smart scientists.
Yeah. Yeah, Batman's a scientist.
The dynamic duo step out of the newly destroyed Doom Trap, and the assassins who are hiding in
like sarcophaguses, like mummies. Yeah.
They stick their guns out of these little peepholes. Now, the sarcophaguses, for those who haven't watched the episode, are facing each other.
Yeah.
Which we're going to find out is quite the fatal mistake. Zelda calls out a warning to Batman and Robin, prompting them to duck. And the assassins shoot each other.
Yeah, they're just dead.
So yeah, we were saying that the Doom Trap as opposed to Death Trap is the standards and practices thing, but then we get two people lighting each other up with like Tommy guns.
Yeah. Well, there's no blood. There's, you know what I mean? Like, you don't see them.
Yeah, because they're in sarcophagus.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, man. Violence is such a weird thing for like standards and practices and stuff. Because like shit can be really violent, but like you can't have like two dudes kissing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or back then.
Yeah.
Two people of different races kissing and
yeah, exactly.
All sorts.
That episode of Star Trek is also 3 years away.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
That was in 1969. I mean, it was really controversial on Star Trek that they had a black lady on the bridge crew, which would have been happening at this time.
Yeah.
And a Russian guy and a Japanese guy.
Well, the Russian guy wouldn't have been there yet.
Oh, that's right. He didn't show up till season 2. Yeah. Check off.
Sorry to pull out my inner nerd.
I should have known. Better.
You should have. God damn it. So The assassins are foiled. Zelda is kind of surrendered, and Evil doesn't really put up a fight at all.
Yeah, he goes to run away. Like, he grabs the money in the briefcase, and then Batman, in his special humongous bat utility pocket that we've never seen before, pulls out a batarang and just throws it at him, and it clonks him and knocks him out. And then he cuffs Zelda. And this is the first time we've had a story without like pows and biffs and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess in the first episode,
Yeah.
the first episode of this story,
yeah,
when Zelda knocks out the security guard at the bank, we get like, there's no onomatopoeia, but we get that like cartoon like impact.
Yeah, it was like animated. It was pretty cool.
I liked it a lot. But yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no fight scene.
I thought like maybe when they were like they're having syndicate guys show up, I was like, oh, that's their excuse to like have like goons so they can all punch each other. But no, that's not what happened. I was surprised that they just blasted each other to bits for a couple of reasons. One was the way we just said, like, you know, just getting killed with guns. And then the other was, I thought maybe there was going to be like a brawl, like there always is.
Yeah, I
like the change of pace. Don't misunderstand me.
Yeah, I know we're only 10 episodes in.
Yeah.
But
this is like the 5th story, you know?
Yeah. I like that the expectations are being played with a little bit.
Yeah.
Some time passes. We're in the women's division of the Gotham State Penitentiary, and Bruce is having a meeting with Zelda the Great. And he says once she's served her time, he would like to offer her a job at the children's hospitals that are run by the Wayne Foundation. And Zelda's pretty stoked on that.
Yeah. And he's mentioned something about it being part of like their reform program. And you know what? I like that a lot. Because one of the things we've said about Batman in general, not just specifically this version, is he's got all this money, and like rather than having this rotating like prison system, like he could in theory start programs and stuff that would actually help the root causes of crime and poverty, and being able to give people like second chances and a new purpose in life is part of that. And I liked that even back 60 years ago that he had an element of that. Now I don't think he would extend that offer to the Riddler, but so I don't know how much of it is because she's a woman or because like her crimes were pretty non-violent. Like she was trying to avoid the violence aspect, which is why she warned Batman and Robin. And like, she just stole money. She wasn't like threatening the city. So comparatively, it's like a petty crime.
Comparatively.
Yeah, comparatively.
Everything you said, I totally agree with. Like, that's the big issue with Batman, especially in his ongoing comic book adventures where he's been
doing this for 80 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
like over 1,000 issues of Detective Comics. And that's just one of Batman's books.
Yeah. It's like, you got to see that this isn't working.
Yeah. That's why when people, dismiss like stuff like this, I'm like, Batman's concept's inherently silly because he's a guy that dresses like a bat, just punches criminals in the face. Like that's all he does to solve things. And then broods are like, oh, my never-ending war on crime. I'm like, you're in a better position to help solve more crime than like anybody else. Like if Superman went like full fascist, like he could obviously solve that, but like that's not the kind of character he is. But he would, in theory, he's the only other person that has like the power, quote unquote, that could like make big societal changes.
Yeah.
Like I almost think like Batman must really like it to be Batman.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Batman's pretty sick. And it's like this one less so than others, but
yeah,
sometimes I'll be watching Batman the animated series and the late Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
He does such a good job of like portraying Bruce Wayne and Batman as two separate characters. But I can't help but think when I watch that, like Bruce Wayne, for as like jolly and nice of a guy he is, he's just thinking like, gosh, I can't wait until the business day comes to an end so I can put on my bat costume, just beat the crap out of some scum.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can't help but like think about it because I thought about it in this episode too because since she's trying to rob Bruce Wayne essentially, it kind of puts into focus like you mentioned in the same conversation you mentioned she's like desperation drove her to crime, and it's like it almost feels like they're rich people that kind of like this is like a weird hobby for them, like they just kind of descend down to the level that like us normals do, and then like impose their like way of life and morals. Granted, I love that this version of Batman is so like law abiding and like corny, like that he would never like it. This one's really earnest and wouldn't do that, but it got me thinking about like the larger Batman situation, and like
Yeah.
what's frustrating about the comics is because the nature of like they're a product that needs to be sold like indefinitely forever, that they can't let the characters really grow and change because they did the Joker War story a couple years ago where like it's revealed that the Joker's kind of always known that Bruce Wayne was Batman, but like he doesn't care. But this time he decides like, well, I'm gonna just end Batman. So he goes into the Batcave. He basically steals all of Batman's equipment, locks him out of all of his resources, and like uses it all against Batman and kind of destroys a ton of it. I was like, you know what? It might be really cool to see like what Batman does when he has none of his wonderful toys or any of his money, or like a lot of his allies can't get a hold of him or whatever. Like, I think that might be really neat. And then of course they didn't do that. He got all of it back at the end.
Yeah, it would be great to see Batman just like taken down a peg.
Yeah, I kind of would really like to see that. Like the whole Batman can win any fight if he plans. Like it all gets really annoying and like boring. Like heroes are fun when they're challenged, and that's part of what makes us like the villains too.
Yeah, exactly. Like how uninteresting is the Penguin or a character like Man-Bat when you like know Batman has a whole laboratory underneath his house.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he's gonna just whip up an antidote, and then we won't see Man-Bat for a while. But Man-Bat will come back.
Yeah, because it's a thing we can make a toy out of.
Yeah. And maybe this time he'll be a ninja from the League of Assassins. But we're
Or
gonna
maybe he'll be like a good guy scientist on Justice League Dark, which for the record, I did like that angle for that character.
yeah, well, because it progresses that character a little bit.
Yeah. But I don't
Maybe.
know. So I know we usually rank the villains at the end of these stories. 1 to 3 stars, depending on like their plan and how well they were able to get one over on Batman. But like it feels different with this one.
Yeah, because if Zelda was all in on being evil,
They would have just won. Like they would have killed Batman right then and there.
yeah, I like her plan was so good. So like where there's so much chaos, like with like the Riddler and Penguin and Joker plots, and even Mr. Freeze's plots is just like nonsense.
Well, yeah, we had like 5 Batmans and 5 Mr. Freezes to fight him.
Zelda had a goal. Everything she did, like logically put her one step closer to that goal.
And they mentioned that she's done it for at least 2 years, robbing the bank.
And getting
And
away
like,
scot free.
yeah, and nobody even knows who she like that. It was even a woman that was in charge, like doing it.
Yeah. So if we did that, I would just give her a 3. But the fact that she has this change of heart, where that rather she never really wanted to get this deep into a criminal enterprise to begin with,
Yeah.
that definitely affects her rating.
And I guess she'd get a 2 then. But like I my heart wants to give her a 3 because like the subversion with the emerald where she still kidnaps Aunt Harriet to extort Bruce Wayne for money. Like she doesn't know that that's Batman, but that does affect Batman in a different way. But like that's a good plan. That was a good plan because she knew it was a trap.
Yeah.
And she did that, and
that.
the other guy had no sense. But that wasn't his idea.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to punish her, but the point of these ratings is to deduce who Batman's like greatest villain is.
Yeah.
And she's not that.
No,
So
she's not. Yeah.
I'm going to say, let's give her a 3,
Okay.
but she deserves a 3.
Yeah. We'll give her a 3, but we'll have an asterisk.
And
I
like,
guess.
because unless she comes back somehow, and I know she's in those comics, so maybe we should take that into. I wasn't really planning on it, but
I don't think we should, at least now, where we are at the show. Like, I think we should treat them as 2 separate things, even though the comics are a continuation of the show.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's originally what I was thinking, but yeah, because as it is right now, like this is probably the best plot against Batman.
Oh, this is definitely the best plot.
And the only downfall she has is that she's not
a killer,
psychotic maniac.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's give her a 3 with an asterisk, and we'll figure it out later.
Because at the end of the day, she's not a villain on the same level as the other characters.
Yes.
Because she actually turned herself in, you know what I mean? Like, she surrendered to Batman, no fight.
Yeah, there literally was no fight.
Yeah. But overall, what did you think of this story? I personally was pleasantly surprised. I really liked this. And going into the episode, I was like, oh, it's just because I know there's like some boring human-y characters. And I was like, oh, that's probably going to be like a letdown because it's like we're in between like Mr. Freeze and a Joker story. And it's like, I kind of just want to move on. But I really liked it.
I really liked it too. Zelda was great. And as a one-off character, she was perfect. I couldn't ask for anything more of this episode, really.
Yeah.
Like the lack of a fight, if I knew there was no fight going in, I would have been a bit more concerned, but there was nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah. If you told me that as a kid, I would have been like, oh, skip this.
Yeah. No, it was very cool. I'm pro Zelda the Great.
Yeah, it was Zelda pretty good.
So the episode ends with a stinger again.
Yeah. I was actually just about to bring that up because it said next week's the Joker, but I'm looking at the episode list and it's the Riddler next time.
Yeah. So I wonder what that was all about.
That's just wrong, I guess. Joker doesn't get it. After Riddler, then it's Mad Hatter, and then it's the Joker.
Yeah. I'm very excited for the Mad Hatter.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see Riddler again,
Yeah, like, to see Riddler and Joker. I'm excited for... There's no one I'm not excited to see.
I wasn't excited to see Zelda the Great, and I liked it. So, what do I know?
What do any of us know?
But I'm surprised this isn't a character they brought into the comics, even as like an obscure old joke. Like this seems like something Grant Morrison would have done.
Yeah, or like Frank Miller.
Yeah.
Just in the background of Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, like I don't know. I wonder if there's like Easter eggs, like there's a Zelda the Great poster in like a circus somewhere.
I'm sure someone has had to have made reference. Or
well, if we ever get to take over a Batman title,
yeah,
we'll do that. DC will just let some random nobodies just write one of their main characters because that's how it happens.
Oh, why the heck not?
Yeah. What do they got to lose? Nothing. But yeah, I like that. I enjoyed this. I know that there's definitely eventually going to be episodes I'm like, this was dumb and hard to watch.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when we get there. But yeah, I mean, by far, this story was way better. As much fun as I had with Mr. Freeze, especially in the first half of his story.
Yeah, that's
so much better than that.
Yeah, that's what I would say. This one's like a better story, but the other ones were more fun.
Yes.
Like the only thing that was kind of really dumb in this was them just blowing themselves up and being fined.
Well, and also the fact that like
there was some fourth wall breaks.
I don't mind that.
Oh, I like that too, but I'm just trying to think like if I'm doing this from a bit more serious. But yeah, you're right about this mistaken identity part, or not realizing that was her.
Yeah, that's the only silly thing. It's like, oh, he saw her and then saw that she used mirrors to create an illusion, but it took, I guess that was her signature act, right? Being
Yeah, I guess.
suspended over
Yeah.
the flaming vat of oil. Whatever. I can forgive it. This was a really fun episode.
Yeah. I think it was pretty cool. I think it was cooler than Mr. Freeze's episode.
Oh, God. Anyway, on that note, everybody, I'm out of here. We'll catch you next week for maybe the Joker, definitely the Riddler.
Yeah.
Same Batcast time, same Batcast channel.
Peace.